our computer that we use to sequence is from the mid-90s, is that right?
94, it's a 94, 95 Dell, which was the basement's, the house
The family computer,
the family computer in the basement that I took over, and my uncle gave me the cakewalk sequencer.
I mean, it dates back to, because when I started making hip-hop beats, Pete taught me how to use the cakewalk sequencer, and I was so used to it to program MIDI that we just still use it to this day.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Pentium 2.
Pentium 2.
It works really good.
For what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, like, the synths we use are even older than, the synths we use are 10 years older than the computer. So, in fact, the computer, like, leads the way technologically in the studio. There was a couple little negative comments about the Bushmills campaign, and I think, like, I'm going to be really honest, like, I'm not saying this strictly to be defensive, but, I mean, let me explain the reality of the music business for a band like us that is not on radio, that is not on commercial television. Like, if we want to do something interesting and give back to, say, like, our hopefully ever-growing cult following, record labels aren't going to fund this. They're not going to give us a huge budget because we're not on the radio and because we don't sell those amounts of records. So the only way we can get the means to reinvest into this whole creative endeavor is by doing partnerships with brands. That's how we gave Night by Night away for free, which was so important for us. Like, I know, you know, it was a partnership with a label that's funded by Mountain Dew and everything, but we didn't force anybody to drink Mountain Dew. You're not seeing us drinking Mountain Dew. We did an amazing, I mean, they did an amazing job. It was brand free. You know, all you see is a logo. You enter your info. Okay, whatever, it's not going to kill you. You get a song for free, and the video we did was like the slickest video we had done to date. So I feel like
with no product placement at all.
Exactly.
Nothing.
You know, it's not like Night by Night and Peas drinking, and it's the same with Bushmills. I mean, they're extremely tasteful and discreet about product placement. They let us have the final say on all the creative stuff. You don't see us drinking anything. You don't see us telling people that they should drink something. I mean, there's really nothing coercive at any label, at any level on this partnership, and then at the same time, we feel like the fans benefit because we get to bring them more tours, a more evolved show, more videos, more remixes, and more free stuff. So I actually think that's like a blueprint of how brands and bands can work together in a creative and tasteful way. So in a way, it's very, it's kind of backwards, and it's kind of retrograde to be complaining about it. I mean, it's not like if Pete and I were smoking cigarettes and eating McDonald's, need a girl, give me the Mountain Dew. Like, it's not like that, you know? Like, there's nothing of that. And the other thing, too, is another way that artists today are able to get by when they're not at this huge commercial level is that they sign these deals with big labels, with touring companies or major labels, where they sign away a portion of their touring profits or their merch profits, or they sign away their publishing. Now, what's more of a sellout? If you can't even make the full money out of your own show and you signed your publishing away or your t-shirt money away, or if you're doing something with a brand where you still control everything and you give away free stuff to your fans.
Think about it.
Well, the 80s, 50s theory is something that we developed with my boy Ezra from Vampire Weekend. And it came to, I mean, well, we just realized that in the 80s, the cool decade was the 50s. Like the late 50s, early 60s. You know, and when you think of all the 80s staples, like the Wayfarers, the loafers, you know,
the way.
the loafers, but even like you know, the biker jackets, the white socks that Michael was rocking, they're all 50s.
Rolled up t-shirts.
Yeah, the James Dean look, the Marilyn Monroe
posters with neons in it.
Yeah, those were all like late 50s, early 60s staples. I mean, think of all the 80s videos that take place in a diner. Think about all the 80s videos that have dudes, you know, greasers. I mean, everything from Huey Lewis to Stray Cats, even Take On Me by ABC, there's a diner scene. You know, and so the cool decade, the nostalgic decade in the 80s was that. And it influenced the music because you have all these songs that have like a retro feel to them, but it's like a retro 80s, like, you know, like the Jitterbug by Wham and Huey Lewis.
It's like
did
50s
it.
music with sits.
Yeah. And so we decided, and it was totally, you know, Billy Joel, of course. I mean, there's a million examples, down to Michael Jackson, down to Hall & Oates. And it's been untouched, like completely untapped in terms of giving a new take on that, which is really fun because
A third take on the
it's
50s.
like a dialogue between three eras. So we did a song that has that vibe on the new album. It's called Grow Up. It's the album closer. And like our new thing has just been like identifying these 80s, 50s things. Because so many of your quintessentially 80s bits of trivia and nostalgia are in fact 50s, 60s staples. You know? So that's that. That's the 80s, 50s theory.
We're so 80s that we're 50s and late 70s.
All that to say that like a decade doesn't really mean anything. It's very arbitrary.
Hey, yo.